Hi, everyone. This is Nick with ActivePipe, and welcome to the ActivePipe training session for our John R. Wood agents. We are going to get started here in just another minute or two while we let the rest of our attendees join the meeting. Shortly, I will share my screen, so just let me know in the meantime if you have any audio or screen share issues, and we'll get started in just a moment. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. This is James Schnars. I just wanted to welcome you all to our ActivePipe training this morning. I'm glad you all could join us. And this is a great opportunity for me to let you know the benefits of ActivePipe while Nick's getting set up here. This is a bulk email platform that's going to allow you to communicate with your sphere of influence in your database to increase your business. This platform is a very easy platform to use. It's very quick. It will not eat up your time trying to send emails. Nick's going to go over all the processes and things to get you started, but I just wanted to chime in here real quick and let you know that I'm glad you're here, and it's a great tool for you to increase your business and stay ahead of your sphere of influence and out there and top of mind and to communicate with your database. So if you have any questions, you can certainly chime in and ask them here while Nick goes through all of this information for you. We also have webinars on our website. We're recording this as well, so you can watch it in a future time as well. So Nick, please take it away. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, James. Yep. So to get us started in today's training session, our focus for today is to get you comfortable with what ActivePipe is and what it can do for you as a real estate agent. So the goal today is to show you how to get started in your account, how to sync your contacts from Delta into ActivePipe, and how to start sending out your first emails. Now, before we get started, I'll mention that we are recording this training session, so you guys will be able to go back and rewatch and review everything that we've covered today. If you have any questions, you can send those questions through the chat or the Q&A. By default, everyone is on mute since this is a webinar, but if you have questions, I'll be able to circle back on those. So send those questions through chat or the Q&A in the Zoom meeting, and I'll be able to take a look at those. And like James mentioned, just to give you kind of an overview of ActivePipe, ActivePipe is an email marketing and automation tool built specifically for the real estate industry. And we've partnered with your marketing team, since they'll be able to create a ton of really great content for you, so that one, you're able to go into your account and kind of operate on your own. If you want to build your own emails, if you want to curate your own campaigns, you can do so. But your marketing team is able to create really great email content for you so that you're able to stay on top of your contacts. You're able to stay top of mind we see that 80% of people would work with the realtor again, but only 20% do so. The reason being, most of the time, is they hadn't heard from them. So that's our goal with ActivePipe, is to make your life easier as a real estate agent using our email marketing tool. And really, it's an easy, like James said, it's a really easy, really intuitive system to learn. So I'll go through a demonstration right now on how to get set up in your account, how to get your contacts into ActivePipe, and how to send out your first emails. So whenever you get logged in, and you'll go through your Delta system to access ActivePipe, I believe there's a sign up link actually in Agent Central if you haven't signed up for ActivePipe yet. So once you sign up, once you get logged in, the first thing that you'll see when you get into your ActivePipe account is you'll actually see a prompt that looks something like this. So you'll see kind of this window that will prompt you to sync your Delta account with ActivePipe. So that's really the first and most important step, is if you're using Delta as your CRM, so as your contact management system, and you want those contacts to appear in ActivePipe, you'll just need to click the button that says sync with Delta. So once that sync begins, it'll take up to an hour or two to finish fully syncing your contacts over to ActivePipe. Once that is complete, you'll see your contacts now in ActivePipe in your ActivePipe database. And we are also syncing over groups from Delta, which will just sync as tags in ActivePipe. And we'll go through kind of more detailed overview of contacts and tags and how the relationship with Delta works. But really, that's your main starting point here, is to sync your contacts from Delta into ActivePipe. Once that is done, you will land here in your account. So in your account, you're going to find the different sections here on the left side. So your dashboard, that's going to display kind of high level data as far as what's happening in your database. For now, it's just going to tell you that we need to create an email, we need to create a campaign to get started. On the left-hand side, you'll see all the different sections here in your account. So you'll see a section called emails, campaigns, contacts, audiences, properties, and settings. So really, step number 2 in getting set up is to access your settings section. And this is where you'll find your profile in ActivePipe. Now, what we've actually done is we've actually synced your profile in Delta to create your ActivePipe account. So whatever's in Delta as far as your name, email address, phone number, even your headshot, we've just used that to create your profile in ActivePipe. And what you'll actually see is that your profile is synced, meaning that if there's a change to your profile in your Delta CRM, maybe you change your name, maybe you change your headshot, you add in a different phone number, you add in your title or license, it's going to sync over and update what's in ActivePipe. Now, if you'd rather manage that information separately, and you want to just update your profile directly in ActivePipe, all you have to do is turn the sync off, and you'll see that all these fields you can now edit. So now in ActivePipe, you can directly upload a different headshot. You can update your name if you want to. You can add in a different phone number, title, license, personal website, social links. And all of this information here in your settings will display automatically in your email templates. So you're not going to have to worry about adding this information in for every single email you create. It's already part of those email templates. Your signature line will automatically populate based on what's here in your settings. So if you want a different headshot to appear in your emails, you would just update the headshot here in settings and then save those changes. So again, step number 1 being sync your contacts from Delta. Step number 2, make sure everything that is here in your settings as far as your profile is accurate and how you want it to display in your emails. So once we've got our contacts in, we can navigate to our contact section where we'll find our database in ActivePipe. So if you've synced with Delta, this is where you'll find total number of contacts that we've synced from your Delta account, contacts that are subscribed, contacts that have unsubscribed from your emails, meaning they've clicked the unsubscribe link. And then this section that says not subscribed, that typically means that you either have emails that have hard bounced, or there's some email addresses that are invalid for contacts that have synced from Delta. So if you want to update somebody's email address, really if you want to update anything contact related, you'll do that in Delta. Delta is your source of truth as it comes to contacts. So if you want to add a new contact in ActivePipe, you'll actually add that contact in Delta so that it syncs directly to your ActivePipe account. So we sync with Delta every hour. So any updates, any changes that you make, if you add a new contact, if you group someone, if you update their name or their phone number, that information is just going to sync over to ActivePipe and update the contacts in your ActivePipe account. Same goes for groups. I know you have groups in Delta. Those will actually sync over as tags in ActivePipe. So a tag is just the way that we're able to label contacts to create the list of contacts that you want to send your campaigns to. So let's say if you have a group in Delta called maybe you have your open house leads group, that's going to sync to ActivePipe as a tag. You'll have a tag called open house leads, and then whoever you've grouped on the Delta side will just be tagged in ActivePipe. And I'll show you in a second how you can add those tags into your campaigns to send to those specific groups of contacts. So now that we've confirmed everything looks good, my contacts have synced, we can start building our emails and sending our first campaigns. So on the left side navigation area, again, you'll see a section called emails and a section called campaigns. And with our terminology that we use in our system, maybe a little bit different than what you're used to if you've used other email marketing tools in the past. So easiest way to describe each of these different parts of our system is that an email is literally the email content. So the actual email that you're going to create to send as part of a campaign. In a campaign, at a simple level, is just a combination of the email that you're sending out, the contacts that you're sending to, and then the date and time that you're sending on. So it's those three basic elements that make up a campaign. So what we'll do is we'll start first by creating the email. So in your email section, this is where you'll find all the emails that have been created and saved in your account. So if you're just getting started, you won't actually see anything here yet until you come over here and start by creating an email. So when I go to create an email and I want to build an email from scratch, you're going to see two sections where you have actual content that you can start with. So in the templates section, this is where you'll find sort of the generic templates that you can use to build an email from scratch. But you'll see that each template is set up in a way where you can easily just drop in a property or drop in some images or some text to build out your open house email, or maybe your price reductions, or maybe you want to send out a sold report. Then you'll see on the left-hand side, there's another section called shared emails. This section actually has content that your marketing team has created for you so that you don't have to necessarily go through creating an email. These are pre-built and ready to send out as is. So if you want to send out, a monthly market report, if you want to send out, let's say, a holiday type of email, you're able to choose from the list of shared emails here, and we can send those out. So these shared emails, these are more of a pre-built email ready to send. You don't necessarily have to edit any of the content. The template section, this is if you want to kind of start from scratch and build using a generic template. So if you want to start with something really easy, let's say we want to send out like a holiday email to our contacts. So maybe we want to start with a Happy New Year email, really simple, really easy. So we'll click on our New Year's shared email. That's going to take us now into the email editor. And you can see that we've already got a subject line. We've already got our email content. We've got a nice looking image here. And this is basically ready to send. So at the bottom of your email, what you'll notice first is that we have this signature line area and then a footer. And the signature line has what we call placeholders. So this is where you'll see that these blue fields are actually linked to your settings in your account. So in the editor, we're just telling you what these placeholders are. So this is going to say user first name, user last name, user phone number. This is where your headshot will appear. So to actually view what this email will look like once it is sent out, if you click preview up at the top of your screen, you can view a preview of the email. So if you scroll down, you'll see that I've got all of my information, in my demo account now appearing in my email. So that's going to give you an idea of, being able to check, make sure everything looks good in our email before we send it out. So I've got my name, phone, email, link to my website, office info down at the bottom. So if I save this, if I click save, you'll see at the top of your screen is a button that says quick send. If we're ready to send this out, if you just click on quick send, this is where we can now schedule the campaign. So 2 steps. We first need to choose who we want to send to, and then the date and time we want to send on. So as far as contacts go, we can search for individual contacts if you want to send to just a handful of people. So you can search their name or their email address, or we can search for tags that we want to send to. So tags being the groups that have synced over from Delta. So you can search for a specific tag, or you can browse all tags that exist in your account. So I have 2 tags in my account. I want to send to my sphere. I'm going to apply that, and you can see I've got 417 contacts that are tagged as sphere. So now that I've chosen who I want to send to, and you can add in multiple tags. You don't have to worry about if a contact is in more than one tag that you're sending to. We're still only going to send one email. They won't receive duplicate emails. So once we've configured our recipients, we then need to choose a date and time. So if we're wanting to send this out, let's say, New Year's Eve, this is going to send, probably better to send this on New Year's Day. Now we can click send and have our campaign set up to send at our specified date and time to our specified contacts, and then with our email content, of course, that we're wanting to send. Cool. So that's really kind of the simple and easy process for finding some specific email content that you want to send that's been created by your marketing team, creating the campaign and sending out. Really quick, really easy. So let's say for this email, or for maybe if you want to start from scratch with a generic email, we want to add some more content into this email. So if this was, maybe a more generic email, maybe not a New Year's email, maybe it's like a monthly market report, or maybe you want to start with like a just listed. You'll see that on the right side of your screen, all of these different content panels that you can use to just drag and drop in content into your email if you want to build this out and customize it further. So maybe you want to add a heading, you can drag over that panel section, drop in a heading. Or if you want to add some text, we can drag in a text panel, drag in and drop it into our email. So these panels, yeah, go ahead, James.
You just go in and show them how to do a just listed template. Just start with a just listed and then start adding stuff to it that way.
Sure. So if I go back to my email section and just kind of to start from scratch here, we'll go back to create an email. So that's going to take us into our templates here. So previously I was in the shared email section, which has all of the marketing emails that have been created. But if you want to start with just a generic template, you'll see There's different types of templates you can use. If I want to use a just listed template to send out a just listed email, I'm going to click on that one to get started. So let's call this our just listed email that we want to send out. So same idea, except now we're kind of starting from scratch. So we need to first give this email a subject line. I'll just type in a subject line here. And then we've got our email below. So we've already got part of the email built out where we have a logo, we have a heading, we have this placeholder section where you'll add in a property. And then again, below you'll have, signature line and footer. So for a just listed, you can keep this really simple if you want and just add in a property and send it out. So to add a property, in this panel section, you'll see a toolbar up at the top and then a little blue house icon in the bottom right. So if you click on that icon, it's going to open up the feed so that we can select a property from the MLS. So we can search based on the MLS ID, we can search based on the address, we can search by city. We can also use these different filters over here on the right to narrow our search results. But probably for a just listed, you're going to know the address of the property that you want to feature. So if I scroll through, let me just pick out a property. I'm going to grab this one here. Actually, let me choose a different one that has more than one image. Let's choose this one. There we go. Cool. So I've selected my property. You can see all of that information has been pulled in from the MLS and it's included for this listing. So we've got the main image here, we've got the property details and a description. Now you can actually edit the description if you want. You can edit the details and you can adjust your image layout. So if we want more than just one image, if you just click on the layout button that's in the middle of the image, you can choose to include sub images below that main image. So maybe we want just 3 images to appear below our hero image. So we'll select that layout and then it's going to drop in those 3 images. So since this is pulling directly from the MLS, you can go through each of these sections and you'll see that you can choose different photos that are available for this property. So if we want to show the living room, maybe the kitchen, maybe we'll get one of the backyard. So now we've configured our property with all of the images we want to display, our details and description. So at this point, maybe we're ready to send this out. So we would just click save and then quick send to schedule it and send to our contacts. James, I don't know if you want me to dive into the automated listings a little bit, or if this is a good place to stop and move on to a different section. Happy to go either route.
I think you just go ahead and start showing them where you can add individual things and different images and headers, yep, feeds and blogs and things like that.
Perfect. So let's say for our email, maybe we want to add multiple properties. So for a just listed, maybe we have our feature property here, but maybe we want to add a different section below and add in our latest listings. So I'm going to drag in a heading and we'll call this our latest listings. And instead of adding just one property, so you'll see on the right-hand side, we have property panels. So the feature panel is the one we used above. We can either add a grid or a list of properties. So if I want to add a grid, I'll just drag and drop that under our heading. And now I have a grid layout. But instead of adding our properties in manually, if you switch on the toggle feed that's in the toolbar, that's going to automatically start to pull in properties from the feed so that now we can set up a criteria to automatically sync those properties into our grid. So if you click define properties, this is where you'll set up that specific criteria. So you can set up a filter based on a property type or listing status, We can order the properties by date listed, date modified, price. And in the advanced settings, this is where we can be really specific based on either the email we're creating or maybe this specific section of our email with the properties we want to filter in. So for example, our latest listings section, we can include properties that were listed in the last week or maybe the last couple weeks. We can also set a restriction based on a zip code or city or state. And if you want to narrow your focus down on just your active listings, you can use the filter here that says only include agents listings. So by default, you can have all properties syncing in just kind of generically from the MLS. You can include only your active listings, but you'll see that there's a feeds tab here where you can select neighbor John R. Wood exclusive listings. So there's different ways that you can kind of narrow down your focus on the properties you want to include, either with no filters and you've got all MLS syncing in, or we can focus on John R. Wood exclusives, or you can focus on just your active listings. So if I click update, it's going to update the properties in this panel based on what the feed is pushing into ActivePipe and based on the filters that you've set up. And the great thing about using this toggle feed here is that once we've turned this on and we've set up that criteria, all the properties now in this section will update in real time. So that's where you can set up these recurring campaigns to send out weekly or monthly, and you can set up the email and you don't have to worry about manually updating this every time it sends out. It's going to update automatically. It's going to send out with those new listings or those upcoming open houses or those recently sold properties. Cool. So that's how to automate a little bit more of what you're looking to do for adding in properties for a just listed or maybe some type of property report. Now, if you want to add some interactive type of content, maybe for a newsletter, keeping in touch piece, or maybe to go alongside one of your holiday emails, maybe we want to add a video, for example. So under the video section, if you drag in that panel, you can add a video from either YouTube or Vimeo. So if you have a YouTube channel in your settings, you can just click choose video. It's going to pull those videos in from that channel. Or if there's just a random video that you want to add from YouTube, you can just go to that video, copy and paste the link up here at the top, and then just click get video to add that video into your email. So once you add that video in, it'll have the preview image from YouTube, and then it'll have a play button overlay. If a contact clicks on the play button, they'll be taken directly to the YouTube page for that video, where the video will play. Now, if you want to add maybe some blog content, maybe you want to add a blog article from a specific blog feed, under the smart feed section down at the very bottom of the panel section, you'll see that there's 3 types of panels, whether you want to feature one main article or a grid or list of articles. So if we drag over, let's say the feature, we want to have just one feature, main article in our email. We'll drag and drop that into the body of our email and then just click on the orange icon. And from here, I'm just going to add the Inman feed because I know that's RSS enabled. But as long as you have a blog that is RSS enabled, meaning we can read that blog on our side, it's going to pull in those blog articles, and then I can choose an article to add directly into my email. So it'll pull the title, image, some text, and then a link back to that article's webpage. Cool. So again, if I click save, I can view a preview of the email. I can send a test or a preview email to myself, or maybe I want to send it to another agent or to an assistant. And then I can click quick send to schedule the campaign. So we'll choose our contacts. Maybe this time I want to send this to my friends and family. And then we'll choose our date and time to schedule this to send. So we can have it send once, or if this is a monthly newsletter, if this is going to be our weekly listings that we want to send each week, we can choose to repeat this campaign to send on a specific schedule. So this is where we can say every week on Friday at 2 p.m., I want this email to send. So you can see it's a really simple, really easy to use tool. And it can be as simple as you want to make it. If you're just wanting to send out those just listeds, or maybe you just want to send out a couple of those emails that have been created by your marketing team, but it can be as automated and as advanced as you want to make it. If you're wanting to send out automated reports of your upcoming open houses each week, maybe your monthly solds that you're wanting to send on a monthly basis, and you're able to set and forget those campaigns, so you're not having to do that manually each month or each week when you're wanting to send those properties to your contacts. So if I go back to my email section, we'll find the just listed and the New Year's email that I just created. Now that we've created an email, we can choose to reuse this email if we want and send it in another campaign, or we can create a duplicate of an email. So the emails in your account that you've created, they sort of become your own personal templates that you can reuse over and over again. You can create duplicates of them without having to start from scratch every time you want to send a campaign. So you don't technically have to create an email every time you want to send something. If you want to hop back into your just listed email, maybe we just want to change up our property here. So we'll go find a different property that we want to send. And then we can save it, and then it's ready to send out in a campaign. So you don't technically have to start from scratch. You don't have to build an email every time you want to send something. You can reuse these emails. You can create duplicates of them so that they're operating like your own templates in your own account. But if you want to start from scratch, you'll always be able to use those generic templates or the shared emails that your marketing team has created for you. Now, after you've sent out your first couple of emails, maybe you're interested in, what's going to happen now? What happens now that I've sent an email? My contacts are to open and interact with my email content. So within each campaign, you'll be able to find a report. So under your campaign section, you'll find all the campaigns that you've sent out or that are currently running if you've scheduled a recurring campaign. And within each campaign, there'll be a link to view the report. So I have a screenshot of just a basic campaign report that I can walk you through. But this will give you a good idea about, first of all, how your campaign performed. So I'm using an example of a changed property report. And I'll first be able to find our performance metrics. So how many emails that were sent, how many bounced, what's the open rate, what's the interaction rate, and how many properties were in that email. And down below, you'll find contact specific reporting. So who are my top contacts and what were my top links? So top contacts, meaning these are contacts that have the highest interaction rate with your email. So this is where you can see who all clicked on what and how many times they clicked on a specific link. And a link can be anything from a link to your website, social link, if you use the video panel, if you use the smart feed, so a blog article, or a property. So you can see that, if you have a couple different properties in your email, you can see how many times they were clicked on, who exactly clicked on a specific property, and how many times that individual clicked on a property. So you can get a really in-depth analysis of how this campaign performed and who all has been interacting and what is their behavior within this specific email. So really that's kind of the goal here as far as getting you started, is getting your contacts in your account, making sure your settings and your profile is configured appropriately, and then building and sending out your first emails in your account. Now, the campaign report I just showed you, we will actually be sending out an email notification an hour after a campaign sends from your account. So whether it's, you know, a quick send campaign that you've created, or maybe it's a recurring campaign, we will send you an email to let you know, hey, this campaign is sent. Here are some of the preliminary stats around how it's performing. And there'll be a link back into your account to view that full campaign report. So we'll notify you if you have a campaign send, what are some of the some of the early stats on that campaign, and you'll be able to link back into your account so you can view all stats around that campaign. Cool. All right, any questions on campaigns or the campaign reporting? Let me just jump into the chat and see if you have any specific questions, or if James, if there's anything on your side that you want to mention as well.
Sure, we are recording this, and I know Yvonne, you just asked if there is a recording of this. Yes, so if you go on the John R. Wood website under the webinars tab, we do have some webinars already there for you that we've pre-recorded. So if you wanted to go back and watch this, you could. And Nick, I'm just going to share my screen if that's okay.
Sure.
So you can see I have Delta up here. You can see my screen, correct, Nick?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, great. So if you're logged into Delta, right here is the ActivePipe link. So you should be able to just click this link, and it's going to take you directly into your ActivePipe account. So you won't need to have multiple logins to do that. So once you're here in Delta, just click this ActivePipe link and it's there. The other thing I wanted to show you, so if you go on to ActivePipe's website and you are here, they have webinars already here as well. So if you scroll down here on their site, here. Oh, here it is. Here's his actual tab. If you scroll down, they constantly have webinars already recorded here for you on a bunch of different topics and live stuff that's constantly happening all the time. So in addition to that, we do have them on our John R. Wood site. So I think I have it here somewhere, but if you go to our John R. Wood /webinars, if you scroll down, you will see that there's an ActivePipe webinar here for you as well. So this is a tremendous tool, guys. I just wanted to reiterate that to you. It's generates business for you, that keeps you in front of your sphere of influence and your database. So you've got your database in the Delta CRM, it automatically comes over. You can quickly get an email and it creates business for you. So I would encourage you to get signed up. And hopefully if you aren't signed up, you can do that on Agent Central as well. There is a link on the home page of Agent Central for you to do that. And it will send an email directly to you so you can get signed up. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to please reach out to myself or Scott Kelsey. He can also help you. Or AJ, if you have any technical questions, can also help you here in our home office. So I think that's it, Nick. So I appreciate your time and going over this for us.
Yep, thank you guys for attending. I'll wrap it up with one more kind of follow up to what James just went through. If you're on our website, you can of course go through and see all of our webinars. There's also a link at the top if you want to contact support. However, if you're in your account and you're running into any issues or you have questions or you just generally need help, you'll see a button in the bottom right of your screen. If you click the help button, you'll actually be able to live chat with one of our support team members. And that's really the quick and easiest way to get in touch with us. If you're having questions, if you're needing help getting started in your account, just click the help button. You'll be able to live chat with someone, and we'll be able to get you sorted out with whatever you need help on. So just wanted to kind of wrap up with that as far as resources or contacting support.
Hey, Nick, we have a question here. Tanya,
Sure.
it says, in ActivePipe, some of my clients have blue buttons and some do not. Why?
Some of my contacts have blue buttons, some do not. So blue buttons. That's a good question. Maybe that. Oh, I see. So you're probably talking about status here. So status just means they're either subscribed or they're not subscribed or they've unsubscribed. So those are kind of the three statuses. So if you see a blue button or a blue icon here and it says subscribed, that means that contact you're able to send to them. Essentially, they are subscribed. There's nothing they have to do to subscribe. They just need to have a valid email address. If you see a gray icon and it says not subscribed next to a contact, that means that this person has either hard bounced or they have an invalid email address. Either way, we can't contact them. We can't send to them. So you'll need to either update their email address or get a new email address from the contact so that they have a valid email address for us to send to. Now, you may see a red status that says unsubscribed. That means that either you have manually unsubscribed that contact or the contact has clicked the unsubscribe link in one of your emails and unsubscribed themselves. So those are the three statuses that you'll see with your contacts. And it really comes down to, can we email them or can we not email them? So if they're subscribed, that means this is a contact that you can email. Anything other than that means we can't email them for whatever reason, invalid email address, or they hard bounce, or they've unsubscribed themselves. But definitely a good question there. And I see a question through the Q&A. Can I change the font and size? So in your emails, and James, stop me if I'm going over time here. You will have the ability to change what we call headings. So in my just listed email, you'll see I have a heading here. And if I highlight that heading, you'll see under the dropdown in the gray toolbar that you can change the heading style. And the heading style is just a font size combination. So if you want this to show up with kind of a different heading style, you can change that. You can see you can move that to paragraph or fine print. So those are the 5 different heading styles that you can change here that we've configured for your accounts. Everything is meant to stay on brand and stay aligned to what we've configured for John R. Woods designs in these templates.
So we couldn't see your screen, Nick, when you were showing that.
That would help if I share my screen. Yeah, so sorry about that. I completely didn't realize that. I haven't had my coffee today yet. So in your email editor, you'll see that a text or heading panel has a gray toolbar, and this is where you'll be able to actually change the heading style. So again, it's a font size combination is what a heading is. You have 5 different headings to choose from, essentially.
There was another question here also that talk about adding your mailing list and individual contacts. So where you would do that would be Delta. So if you synced your profile when you first logged into the system, so all of your contacts automatically came into ActivePipe, you are going to manage your contacts through the Delta CRM. So if you need to add somebody or create groups, again, you're going to do that in Delta. And once you do that, within an hour or so, that will get updated and into ActivePipe.
Yep, exactly. And I'll reiterate, a group that you create in Delta will be created as a tag in ActivePipe. And just to kind of go back, since I wasn't sharing my screen, when I was going through statuses and talking about the different colors of those icons next to a contact, you'll see a blue icon for subscribed contacts. You'll see a gray icon for anyone that is not subscribed, meaning they have an invalid email address and we can't email them. Or you'll see a red little icon if they've unsubscribed from your emails. So just wanted to circle back on that. And let me see the chat if you have anything.
Scott Kelsey just had mentioned here that said all of your boost contacts by HomeSpotter will be in ActivePipe as well. So when Scott's running those boost ads for you, when you get new listings, all of those contacts automatically go into your Delta CRM, and then obviously come in and get in right into an ActivePipe as well. So you'll have those there.
Cool. And I see a question about transferring contacts from top producer to Delta. I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't know if James, you would know that.
Yeah, you would have to move your contacts into Delta from top producer. I don't know if Delta integrates with top producer, Nan, so maybe AJ can answer that question for you. And Nick, can you just go into the shared templates and pull up that newsletter for everyone? I know it's an email that everyone likes, and Mike Dodge. So there it is. So if you go in the shared templates, and it's the second one over, the monthly market report. So you can see if you go ahead and click on that, Nick, you can see, Mike, and here is the monthly market report that Mike Dodge creates for all of you, and it is in here. So we've given a spot for you on the bottom. Also, if you wanted to add a listing to the bottom of this, or multiple listings, obviously, because the templates are so flexible, you can certainly go in here and add listings to this newsletter or the monthly market report and get this sent out. So this will be updated. So when Mike Dodge sends his email out that says the monthly market report is ready, this will get updated within a day or two to have the latest report as well. So.
Cool. I see another question about RSS capabilities. If there's a specific, there's a couple of ways that you can test blogs if you're looking to see if they're RSS enabled. But really easiest way is if you contact our support team and just tell them, hey, can you see if this is RSS enabled? They can check that for you. If it is, they can add it directly into your account as a feed that you'll have access to. But I can share, I think there's let me see if there's one. Yeah, let me just share the link with you guys. So if you use this little website here, just drop in the URL, it'll check to see if it's valid. If it tells you it is valid, then you can either add that link in yourself by adding in a favorite article, or you can contact our support team, say, hey, I need help adding this in, and they can drop that in for you. So if you're using the smart feed, you can just type in the feed URL up here, and then you'll be able to favorite that and have it linked in your account.
And Mitchell's asking if there's a tag from Boost to indicate how a lead came in. I don't think so. And Mitchell, you can reach out to Scott. I don't know if it tags that a certain way when it goes into Delta. And Scott Kelsey can probably answer that for you. Scott, I don't know if you're still on the call, but if you can type a message in there, if and when somebody from Boost, the lead comes in, does it tag it or put it in a group in Delta? I don't think it does. I think it just comes in as a general lead. There's Scott's answer to that. He says, I think it comes in as online. So Toby asked, will the monthly newsletter put the individual names in? And I'm not sure what you mean by that. If the monthly newsletter, you would have to pull up like Nick is doing here, and then once you've got it set, hit save, and then go to quick send, and then put the recipients that you would want to receive that newsletter. So you would have to put your group and or individual names in who you want to get that once you've set it up and ready to go.
Yep. So if I just hit save here, if you just hit quick send, this is where you'll be able to search for those contacts. So you can search for individuals if you want. You can search for the tags. So that would be the groups that come over from Delta. And then you'll be ready to send that. You know, if you're more along the lines of asking if we want to add names into the actual email. So one thing I maybe didn't show you guys is that you have a way to kind of mail merge who you're sending to if you want to address your contacts by first name. So instead of having just a generic kind of email send out without actually being personalized, you can add what we call a placeholder for the contacts you're sending to populate their first names. So for each contact that you're sending to, it's going to display their name so that you have a more personal message for all the contacts that you're sending to.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. That's probably what Toby was asking, and I misread that. So thank you.
It's all good. Cool. All righty. Well, let me see if there's any other questions I see coming in. All righty. I don't see any other questions, James. So, if there's anything else, we can kind of wrap things up for today. And again, appreciate everyone's participation in all your questions. Really good questions so far today. I do see that Mike Dodge has a question here. If no first name was entered, does it omit hi? So yeah, that's the one thing you have to keep in mind here is that we won't. By default, we won't really remove any text that's in the email. So if you have a bunch of contacts that you don't have their first name, then it's probably best not to use the placeholder because yeah, we don't have a way to omit or remove any kind of text in there if somebody doesn't have a first name. So that's one thing to definitely keep in mind there. All right, at least you're having a hard time linking contacts from Delta. Yeah, if you want to contact either your team at John R. Wood or if you want to contact our support team, again, if you're in your account, just click the help button and then you can chat with someone if you need help with either you're not seeing certain contacts sync to ActivePipe, maybe your certain contacts have a status and you're wondering why you're not able to send to them. Whatever questions, whatever issues you're running into, contact support. Let us know, what's going on so we can help you out and get that sorted for you.
All right, thanks a lot, Nick. We appreciate your time today.
All right, guys. Yep. Thanks again for joining, and excited for you all to join ActivePipe and for you to use the platform. Again, reach out to us if there's any questions, anything you need help on in getting started. Yeah, thanks again, and have a great rest of your day, and have a great holiday. Thanks.